It appears that the veterans are growing increasingly discontented with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, even going so far as to demand their departure from the Invictus Games. Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I dissect the latest royal news and gossip that's got me buzzing. Let's dive right into this chaos, shall we? The veterans are expressing their frustration with Haza and Megxi, claiming that the Invictus Games have lost their significance now that Meghan is involved. They've issued a stern warning to Haza regarding his decision to include Megxi in the Games. Some veterans feel that the Games have become too focused on the royal aspect and have consequently lost their original purpose. As a result, they're urging Haza to step down and bid farewell to the Games. Mark Dolan, host of GB News, has stated that approximately 2,000 ex-military personnel have already withdrawn from the Invictus Games, citing the loss of its original meaning. There's a growing sentiment among former veterans that Haza should relinquish his involvement in the Games. Adding to the discussion, royal biographer Angela Levin, whom I greatly respect and often reference on this channel, has asserted that veterans who were once engaged with Haza's Invictus Games now feel disconnected from him. It's a significant shift in sentiment among those who were once enthusiastic supporters of the royals' initiatives. In an interview with GBN America, Angela Levin expressed her belief that the Invictus Games had become overly focused on Haza and Megxi rather than the veterans themselves. She remarked, "It's become much too royal." Levin highlighted Megxi's involvement in making speeches and even leading a march, despite her lack of understanding of the experiences of ex-military individuals who may have been physically, emotionally, or psychologically affected by combat. According to Levin, this caused distress among the veterans, who felt that Megxi's actions were out of touch with their reality. Levin also recalled Megxi's speech at the previous Invictus Games in Dusseldorf, Germany, where she apologized for being late, citing the need to give her children milkshakes. Levin emphasized that the veterans were not interested in such excuses, particularly when they were facing challenges related to their service. Additionally, Levin questioned the authenticity of Megxi's excuse, likening it to a dubious claim akin to "my dog ate my homework." Furthermore, Levin criticized Megxi's speech on strength and resilience, considering it insulting given Megxi's perceived lack of fortitude. Levin suggested that Megxi's response to criticism, even if it were constructive, revealed a fragile ego rather than true resilience. The response back, "You racist, you misogynist, blah 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 blah," there's no indication of strength from Megxi in handling criticism, in my opinion. Angela Levin further elaborated, stating, "I think it's become much too taken away from what is the idea, which is to help these people live another life." Haza, on the other hand, was praised for his previous interactions with veterans. Levin recounted her experience accompanying him to speak with them, noting his ability to instill hope and purpose in just a few minutes of conversation. However, Levin criticized Megxi's increased prominence in the Invictus Games, remarking that it has shifted the focus away from its original purpose. She commented, "Now it's all about Megxi mainly and Haza follows behind. And I don't think people want that." When asked if she believes the Games have become a PR exercise for the Sussexes, both Levin and the interviewer agreed. Levin expressed her belief that veterans feel disappointed by Haza's apparent detachment from their cause, emphasizing that they deserve more attention. She also pointed out the Sussexes' preference for luxury accommodations, which diverts funds away from supporting veterans. It's worth noting that they've been quite extravagant. Reports from last year's event in Germany suggested they were spending an exorbitant amount, possibly around $5,000 a night, for a presidential suite, allegedly funded by Invictus Games money. And let's not forget Megxi's expensive wardrobe, which undoubtedly adds up. Furthermore, there have been recent reports indicating that the CEO of the Invictus Games is attempting to oust Haza. Angela Levin speculated that the appointment of Mike Tyndall, who is married to Zara Phillips, daughter of Princess Anne, as patron of the Invictus Games, might be a strategy to gently remove Haza from his prominent role. Levin noted that while Tyndall has been courteous about Haza, the focus on the royal aspect has become excessive. This isn't the first time concerns have been raised about Haza and Megxi's involvement overshadowing the veterans. Similar issues were brought up last year, just before the Invictus Games in Germany. Reports then suggested that Haza and Megxi's presence was detracting attention from the athletes, ultimately undermining the spirit of the event. Once again, Angela Levin has voiced concerns about Haza and Megzi using the veterans for their own publicity. And unfortunately, it seems that's exactly what's happening. Initially, the veterans were supportive of Haza, acknowledging his role in starting the Invictus Games. However, as time has passed, it appears that Haza has shifted the focus onto himself, making himself the central figure rather than the veterans. Reports from Canada indicate that people are actively trying to prevent the 2025 Invictus Games from taking place because of Haza and Megzi's involvement. They feel that Haza has tarnished the event by diverting the spotlight away from the athletes who truly need it. It's a disheartening situation as the veterans rely on events like these for support and recognition. The ongoing narrative surrounding the Invictus Games revolves around two primary concerns. Firstly, there's a growing sentiment that the spotlight is being unfairly diverted from the veterans and onto Haza and Megzi. Instead of using their platform philanthropically to uplift the veterans, there's speculation that Haza and Megzi are leveraging the Invictus Games for their own publicity and personal gain. Secondly, there are persistent allegations of financial mismanagement within the Invictus Games organization. Reports suggest that funds intended for supporting veterans are being redirected towards expenses such as clothing, transportation, security, and lavish accommodations for Haza and Megzi. Angela Levin has been particularly vocal about this issue, highlighting the urgency of the situation. In November 2023, during preparations for the Invictus Games in Vancouver Whistler scheduled for 2025, organizers were already appealing for donations. Levin has pointed out the financial strain facing the Invictus Games despite substantial government funding. She has also cited sources within the Vancouver Whistler Invictus Games delegation who have expressed reluctance to proceed with the event in Canada due to these concerns. The situation has reached a critical point where the Vancouver Whistler Invictus Games 2025 is concerned. There are strong indications that organizers want to discontinue the event altogether. And it's not just the event they want to rid themselves of. It seems the veterans are also pushing for Haza and Megzi to step down from their involvement in the Invictus Games. They're advocating for a clean break, urging Haza and Megzi to resign and walk away from their roles. It appears that the veterans no longer want Haza and Megzi associated with the Invictus Games. If you found this video informative and want more content like this, and trust me, there will be more, be sure to subscribe to our channel and help us reach 1 million subscribers. Let's aim for that gold play button, and perhaps even stir up a Meghan Markle meltdown on Instagram. Don't forget to like, share, and comment your thoughts, conspiracy theories, or whatever else is on your mind. And if you have strong opinions about Haza and Megzi's involvement in the Invictus Games, send me a super thanks below this video for a guaranteed response. Until next time, laters.